All right, so everybody keeps asking the videos about trimming the freeze damaged fronds off. So we're going to do a video about that, whether you should or should not, and show you when it is time to trim, what to trim and what not to trim. Hello, my name is Gary Kinnemer and y'all all know me. We just did the video in Florida where we traveled around, visited all the different cities, assessing freeze damage, giving y'all guidance on what to do, spraying the copper fungicides, the perfect palm fertilizer that we failed to mention in the first video. You all asked, we put links in the description below. But overwhelmingly, huge response from y'all. Thank you for all the comments, your questions. Y'all had good ones. Overwhelmingly, I can tell you, the number one question we had was to trim or not to trim while it's still technically winter time. So for y'all, we're doing this video. So this will answer a lot of the different things of to trim, not to trim. So there are a few different segments all included in this video. What you're looking for, that'll tell you what to trim, what not to trim, how much to trim, and in lesson 3 of the video, we actually trim and show you exactly what we're cutting after we educate you first of what we're looking for when we are trimming, then removing the freeze damaged fronds. So let's get right into it. So there's a lot of stuff that is okay, some stuff that isn't okay. Where we're at right now, we're at another nursery. This is not our nursery. We are visiting all over Florida and visiting South Florida to some of the farms that we deal with on a regular basis and doing consulting as well. So that's what we're trying to address is, should you trim, should you wait? You will notice after a freeze that the palms will start to get mold and mildew growing all over these, right? You see this? So this is going to be one of the reasons we tell you to trim your palms and to not wait, because that mold and mildew is going to attract bugs, fungal gnats in particular, and it'll keep spreading the fungus and algae amongst the palm if you don't get this off of there. So now, some people will tell you, wait because they're still passing nutrients. There's nothing left in these fronds. They died so fast that it's catastrophic failure inside. So imagine going down the freeway and somebody broke the freeway in two. You're not traveling down that freeway anymore. That's the same thing that happened when these palms died. They kind of exploded inside or imploded, whatever you want to call it. So the fronds here, these are totally brown. I would trim all this off. There's not even green back here at this point. So now let's jump to another one. This is brown right here. So you can see this is all brown through here. And then we get down to green in here. I would leave a little bit of this stem and keep that green area. You only cut what is dead. Don't cut into green tissue. Now we're getting into where the new growth is. If we can get in here. So here's where we see some new growth. So this spear right here, you're going to want to protect this spear. So you don't want to come and cut, even though a lot of this is brown, you don't want to cut all these all the way back here because then there's nothing to protect this from the wind. So you'll cut these a little higher. Even if they were totally brown, you would cut these higher and kind of make this little protective cage. You want to keep those. So you wouldn't cut them, even if they were totally brown, you wouldn't want to cut them all the way back here. But the ones that are brown, this lower one, you can cut back. And people will tell you, well, it's keeping the airflow out. Air's going to pass right through all this. Like air will go through here, frost will go through there, ice will go through there. So these are the parts that we're talking about trimming. Totally brown material. This is totally brown. We'll trim this. This is coming off. These that still have some green, this is a great example. This has some green. I may leave that a little bit. There's not as much fungus on this yet, but it is developing fungal tissue here. So this is what we keep talking about when we're telling you to trim off the brown and to get it off of here. It's completely brown. You can see the fungus all over it. This is where the copper fungicide comes in to help as well. you're trying to treat that and keep it from spreading. So if somebody's telling you to wait and let that keep spreading all over your palms, I'd have to argue with that as a grower and somebody that's been doing this for a very long time. So when you're looking at the palm, this is what we're talking about. Trim or not trim, green, what is not green. So again, this is already getting really nasty fungus, mildew, mold all over it. This is one of the reasons you're going to want to trim, treat for fungus with the copper, as well as drenching down into the spear area. But, so, totally brown. There is no green on this anywhere except for here on the stem. So we would trim this, leave the green, trim the brown. So then we've got some green growth here on this spear. Well, the newest frond to the spear. But see, there's a little green here. This isn't enough to where I'm going to save this whole spear. I'm not sitting here with little hand scissors and trimming all this out, okay? So we've got a green spear. This is good. This is emerging. Now, even though this one is totally brown, I'm not going to trim this all the way back just in this one particular instance because we want a little bit of structure here to help hold this spear as it develops. So we will actually trim these up higher, here, 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 and make like a little protective cage, if you will, to help maintain that. We're still going to spray them with copper to try to get rid of any algae and nasty growth in there, but it's really important that you get rid of this. I mean, look at this stuff that's growing on them. And I'm not talking about a cosmetic point of view. This stuff is going to attract fungal gnats. All right, I'm going to try to give you an example of what I'm talking about when I'm saying to leave some of the stems to help protect the spear, and why I was saying to take some of the ones that are lower completely off that are brown. So let me show you visually here instead of just talking about it. So sanitize your pruners in between your cuts. You can get rubbing alcohol, mixed bleach water ratio. There's other products. This is what I have right now. So this is your middle spear. This is your new growth. Hopefully we're going to protect this. You can see how things are growing upright. Like if you're looking at the hands of a clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, so typically you want to stay within your, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock kind of range. These little stems here help provide some kind of stabilizing, or like a splint. If you had a broken leg or something, they would put like 2 boards on it. They have cast or braces, whatever. But back in my day, we had 2 boards. So like a splint you would put on there. So that's the reason I'm saying some of this, and it may be confusing when I'm saying leave some of this even though it's brown. Well, it's only in this immediate area here, and we're going to spray it with the copper fungicide anyway. So it's not like we're just leaving brown and letting algae and fungus and all this stuff keep spreading. So in a perfect world, you would start trimming these a little higher up here. And this gets a little bit harder as they get mushy. But even though this is still kind of slightly green, I may leave that. We could maybe crop just the tip of it. But for the point of this video, I'm going to probably just leave that because we're very low on greenery and we need it to process and make nutrients and sugars and all the stuff the plant does. So again, cutting some of these stems out. Even though this one's brown, again, remember what I said, it's still upright. So we're going to leave that and trim that. So the idea is that you still have kind of this protective little cage here, and to help support this. So the one that's completely brown way out here that's lower, this isn't supporting anything. This would be a preferred way, is to leave some of these small petioles or bases or branches. They're not branches, but I'm trying to explain this in a way people will understand. These are actual petioles and petiole bases. So if you leave these, it does provide some kind of stability for this. Now, what you don't want to do is come in and cut everything all the way back to where you just have this little nub of a spear sticking up. that's going to create a problem. This has no protection as it's trying to grow. The wind now can whip this, damage it, break it. You see this all the time when people over prune their palms, and they do this, which is kind of referred to as a hurricane cut. And you come by the next day and the wind hit it and it starts looking like this. And there's no stability here. You removed all the stability. So I'm going to show you one more example here real quick. All these lower ones, all this burned up stuff, this isn't providing structure or stability for the top. These are going. You can cut these closer to the trunk like you normally would, cut all the way down to the petiole base just like you normally would. Now when we get to the top, anything that's still kind of upright, we're going to leave a little more length on these. These are sticking down to the side. That's not supporting anything upwards. 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock position. So I'll just go ahead and cut these. And then up here, same thing. Remove that one. Remove that one. Now we have at least some kind of structure and stability here with these other ones. And so I hope that helps explain, because this is weak. You need to have some kind of stability here and keep all this thatching and the bases and all this together so that you have some kind of strong support system while this regenerates the new growth. So that's the difference in when I'm saying what to cut off and what not to cut off. You want to cut off as much brown as you can, but you also have to leave the structure and stability of the palm. Should you trim? Should you wait? We just showed you why you should trim, and then how much and what to leave and what to trim off. So I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. It's just another video about the freeze damage in Florida. We already did the previous video on a lot of the fertilizers. Are palms dormant in the winter? We already did a video and covered all of that, but a lot of questions were about trimming or not trimming and what to trim.